Hey, it's me, Hrishi Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
I'm really grateful to Ayush because he said that, there has to be an intimacy coach. And I said, I'm okay. I know you and I know Yogi and I know everybody and I know you all will take care of me. Ayush is like, no, it's not about taking care of you. It's about me not overstepping that line with you because I will not mean it. But if you feel something and you're uncomfortable, I will not be able to live with that.
Wow, good on you, brother.
Yeah, man.
No, because I'll tell you honestly, you might be friends, you might be seeing other people.
Yeah.
But it's still uncomfortable.
Correct. And I'm like, at what point, because you're my friend, at what point are you going to tell me? Or at what point am I going to tell you that, Aisha, this is... and I don't want us to feel bad about it because there's 8 years of friendship and I don't want that to be affected by just a month of shoot. Correct. So it has to be done in a process which the intimacy director bought and which...
It probably made you better actors now.
You
can mechanically break it down now.
Correct.
We are actors, right? We are exposed to all kind of cinema and we watch things, but after being in that workshop and she was on set throughout and the director and her worked very closely together,
Wow.
I was like, oh, it's that easy and we're not even touching each other but on camera, because she would also suggest that okay, you should place the camera in this angle in such a way so it seems more real. Some scenes I have looked at and I'm like, okay, Ayush and I weren't even touching each other, but it looks like
there's some smoldering chemistry happening.
Correct.
On the 14th of Feb comes a fabulous second season of -1, and I'm very pleased to have Ayush and Aisha in the studio. What's up, you guys?
Hey, what's up?
So I just completely loved season 1. Given that it was so guerrilla, it was out there. It was on YouTube.
Correct.
It turns out season 2 is a lot later, but I mean, just a bit of an homage because I think the owner of QQ passed away, dude. Sameer, what a great guy he was, and he was one of those guys who gave shape to the dream that was -1. So just want to say something to him about him. Yeah.
We'd actually never met him, but Sid, our producer, talks so fondly of him always. Sid is a person who always looked up to him. There's a time when nobody believed in Sid. And he was the one who was like, yeah, of course, man, I'll do this for you. And it sounds crazy. Let's just do it. And Sid always, like even now, tags Sameer in everything. And he's like, I will continue doing that because he's the reason why -1 happened. And after he said yes, he came to Aisha, then he came to me, then he came to the director and said, Bhai, हमारे पास कोई पैसे नहीं है. Please, ये show करते, but I promise you one thing, okay, we'll make it with all our heart, and that's how it happened.
And even at that time, Sid told us, "Ke bhaiyo, you all have showed faith in me. You all have trusted me, given me your time. I promise you all that one day I'm gonna do justice to you all. We will all get paid. The show will be watched, and I will do it." It took 3 years for that to happen because of the pandemic, but he's done it. And if it wasn't for Sameer, I don't think Sid would have been able to do that, and hence Sameer's name is always mentioned.
Yes.
Wonderful. Just a heads up to all you guys. The thing is that people in the media, we do so many interviews, but then people don't realize where they have to go. See, it's on Lionsgate Play. That means you get a subscription, but you can actually watch it on Prime Video. You can watch it on, Airtel. You can watch it on a host of mediums, provided you have a subscription. So it's actually pretty easy to find. It's called -1. It's the new season. And what I loved about season 1 was just the writing of it, Aisha. I mean, it was just spectacular for me. And the characterization and even a guy like Tripathi would just keep coming in and at the most inopportune of moments. Do you have the same writer? Do you have a different writer for this season? How's that playing out?
So, Sid and Shobham have still written it. We had one more writer in first season who's not a part of it in the new chapter that we've done right now. But basically the story is Shubham Yogi, who's the director and the writer. It is his real life story.
Wow.
And that's how the name -1 has come, because he was seeing someone for the longest time, and they were living in together, and then they broke up, they went their separate ways, and she needed to come back to Bombay and stay at his place, and he's like, you know what, I obviously love you and we've spent such good time together, you please come and crash over at my house. Her mother was very fond of Shubham, and she said, I don't trust my daughter going anywhere, but you have to take care of her. And he's like, of course, you know. And then they started going out and meeting their friends, because they had like common friends. And he got a call one day for a wedding to attend it, and they said, acha to tu apna plus one la raha hai, right? So he looks at her and he's like, nahi, main apna minus one leke aaya. And that's how minus one happened. He, in the first season, you see that it's called Apnana. What was it? Apnana and Andaza. The living room is...
Afsana and Apnana.
No, something. So that,
But it's been a while since season one, in all
so
fairness.
all that drives from his real life story. So it is what Shubham has got.
It's
and it's
actually lived.
Yeah. And Sid has added all the emotion and heart, and all the lines that will melt your heart is all Sid.
Yeah.
So these two are still a part of the
You know, I think the whole premise of it is just fantastic. You know, live-in couples, there have been lots of shows that have been made, but a live-in couple that has broken up and still come to stay together because of whatever logistical circumstances. Like Aisha is right. I remember season one because I loved it so much. I remember moments like her being on the phone with her mom, and her mom saying, okay, you're with him, it's okay. So she doesn't even want her mom to know that, you know, they've broken up, and technically that becomes a kind of like a problem.
And that's something that I actually lived. Like my ex-boyfriend who I was with for 6 years, my mother still trusts him. Like my new boyfriend will come, but she's like, no, is he going to be there? Because I know he'll take care of you. I'm like, Ma, you realize we're not together anymore. She's like, yeah, but I trust him, and like I have a great equation with him. So yeah, so I live it, you know, and while doing the show, that's why it gets very easy, and we talk about it all the time during the writing and the reading sessions, that I'm like, yes, that happens, and I'm so glad someone's talking about it, because, you know, being friends with your ex is such an alien concept in films and all of that. You don't see it, you know, you always see that a relationship has broken up on a bad note, and then, you know, you just don't even look each other in the eye. But that was the thing with the generation before us. You know, our generation made it very casual. My aunt still is surprised that I'm friends with my ex. He's my best friend. And she's like, you know, in our time, we would, even if we went out on a date with somebody, it did not work out, we wouldn't look at that person in the eye. We would like ignore them and all. And that's why this story is so special, because it talks about the real youth of India right now. It's not derived from what the Western culture is. It's not derived from the Western shows about the youth, you know, the idea that you have of the youth. But we're really happy that it actually talks about what goes on in our life.
Yeah. And Ayush, I know this is a very man kind of statement to make, but we can only speak about our species. I get the feeling that women are a lot better at handling this situation. Obviously, because they're a better species than us.
100%.
But men are really terrible at this let us be friends later thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because we're very, how do I put it, very caveman in our feelings. Whereas they can take a step back, you know? Would you agree with me? Talk about that.
You know, whenever, firstly, when the first time they told me of such a concept, I didn't understand only. I was like, "Kaise ho raha hai?"
It doesn't ring our bell.
Like, hello, how are you doing this? So it took like a little time to understand, okay, this is what you're trying to say. And after some time, with civilized discussions with women about this, who are the only people who will make you understand this concept and make you okay with the fact that it's okay, because at one point of time that was a person you cared about the most in your life. So how are you letting that person so easily just get away? I know you have to take time to heal and, you know, take your space and time and whatever, but after that, how can you just let go of such a beautiful friendship, which was the most important thing in your life at one point of time? Now that is a concept which you're like, "Arey haan yaar, aise to nahi socha tha humne." So that's the time when we were like, okay, yaar, this is something new, and this is something which people should actually learn from, and that you don't have to villainize your ex. Your ex is just as important when she was or he was to in the future, like however you make your future. So
So you know, now that Riya and Varun, right?
Yes.
Now that Riya and Varun are older, Are they wiser? Or do problems come back in different shapes and sizes is my question.
So this is called -1 new chapter. So
it's not even season 2.
It's not even season 2. It's new chapter. You don't have to watch season 1 for this. It's an entirely new story. It's
I'm glad you're saying that. Yeah,
yes,
very good.
and it's a genre shift. So when you watch the first one, you're like, it's very funny, it's very light, and it's all that. In the second season, it's equally the opposite. It's both the characters are matured. Both the characters obviously have changed a lot. Like we've tweaked the writing, the characters as well, and it's a more mature take on relationships, about breakup, which is it's not only about a relationship. It's about self-love. It's about independence. It's about careers. It's about infidelity. It's about pretense. It's about a lot of things. So season 2 is like we've scaled up, and we've scaled up in every aspect of it. So that's why we're very excited, because me and Aisha always keep talking about it, that we are always zoned in that cute little bubble of happy-go-lucky and girl next door, boy next door actors. Nobody takes us serious as drama actors, and we genuinely wanted to prove that. And I think we are very fortunate that we got this at this point of time in our careers, where people are just going to look at it and look at us in a different light. So that's
wonderful. Yeah. And in that aspect, I want you to add to this. What I liked is in season 1, which I'm sure has been taken forward, even though it's a totally different story, is the fact that you guys were very career oriented. He wanted to be a pilot. You wanted to be a photographer. I hope that because it's a mature season, that has been taken forward.
Definitely, because the time that we're in right now, everybody is very vocal about having their career first.
Yeah.
You know, we are in a generation for everybody is like, I will let go of relationships. I will let go of my family time, but my career is the most important to me. But at the same time, there are people who are passionate, who do want to make their career, but for them, their relationships and their families are a lot more important. They understand life differently. For them, they will value their time with their loved one over a job, So you see both those sides, and it's done really beautifully. And just because a person values their relationships over work does not mean they're less ambitious. And just because a person is very ambitious doesn't mean the partner in their life needs to, feel left out. So that's covered very beautifully.
Yeah, and also, the reality that a lot of us woke up to, Ayush and Aisha, during the pandemic is losing a job.
Yeah.
I had so many friends who were sitting at home, and
it's still happening. People
are getting laid off, which is a reality which suddenly we got slapped in the face.
Yeah.
I'm sure the show explores that without giving any spoilers.
Yeah. Exactly. So
you can hear Ayush's voice get so excited,
because it is exactly what happened. This story is chapter 2 is so real. It's so relatable. It's just it'll just bite everyone in the gut, where you'll be like, oh yaar, ये तो मेरे साथ भी हुआ है, हो सकता है, होने वाला है.
Or people with who it's happened. And like while we were doing our readings, the director and the showrunner and the writers, they kept asking us, what do you all think the target audience for this is going to be? Is it your age? Ayush and I are different of different age group. They said Ayush tera hoga ya iska hoga, or is it going to be an older audience? We said, it's just going to be a vast group of people who will relate to it.
It's because there are issues where everyone deals in a relationship with. Like, there are so many things where you're like, everyone just deals with all those issues, irrespective of age. Everyone feels they need to prove that they have to do something, and if it doesn't happen, they put on an act. Or some people are not dependent, and some people want to be comfortable at where they are. It's just it deals with a lot of things.
And having said all of this, it sounds like, the show is gonna teach you something, it's gonna preach something, it's gonna prove a point. Saying all of this, the show is about none of this. That's what is so beautiful.
Yeah, you don't want it to get preachy at any point in time. You want to keep it entertaining.
It's never directly pushed in your face, but it really makes you question. That's what I really love about the writing of this show, because I read all of this and I was like, I don't like watching things where people are telling me you should feel this way, you should feel that way. And when I saw one of the cuts of the episodes, I was like, these are just characters living their lives.
Yeah.
What I'm feeling, and these questions are coming up in my head. So that's something that's my favorite part about the show.
I want to come to intimacy. I mean, the scandal columnists and the clickbait kind of people will always turn around and saying, "Oh wow, intimacy in the show." But for an actor, it's not easy being surrounded by lights and a camera and try to bring on the passion.
Yeah.
So
Especially when you're doing it with
Yeah,
a friend of
with a
yours
friend of
who
yours.
you've known for years. You know.
So it was obviously a challenge because we know each other since 8 years, but there was intimacy coaching.
Oh, lovely. I like that.
Yes.
Because I remember during Geraiya, Deepika Padukone telling me, saying that intimacy director really helped her through it.
Yes. Matlab, we had our normal workshops.
So our same coach who worked with us, she was also on Geraiya for a few. So she worked on that as well. Sorry, you can continue.
No, go ahead.
So yeah, that's why I'm really grateful to Ayush because he said that there has to be an intimacy coach, and I said I'm okay. I know you and I know Yogi and I know everybody and I know you all will take care of me. Ayush is like, no, it's not about taking care of you. It's about me not overstepping that line with you because I will not mean it. But if you feel something and you're uncomfortable, I will not be able to live with that.
Wow, good on you, brother.
Yeah, man.
No, because I'll tell you honestly, you might be friends, you might be seeing other people,
Yeah.
but it's still uncomfortable.
Correct. And I'm like, at what point, because you're my friend, at what point are you going to tell me? Or at what point am I going to tell you that, Aisha, this is... and I don't want us to feel bad about it because there's 8 years of friendship and I don't want that to be affected by just a month of shoot. So it has to be done in a process which the intimacy director bought and which...
It probably made you better actors now.
You
can mechanically break it down now.
Correct.
We are actors, right? We are exposed to all kind of cinema and we watch things, but after being in that workshop and she was on set throughout and the director and her worked very closely together, I was like, oh, it's that easy and we're not even touching each other, but on camera, because she would also suggest that, okay, you should place the camera in this angle in such a way so it seems more real. Some scenes I have looked at and I'm like, okay, Ayush and I weren't even touching each other, but it looks like
There's some smoldering chemistry happening.
Correct.
Wow.
so it's so important. Obviously, it happens in the West, but it's come to India and it's so good. I'm so grateful for Intimacy Coach coming in, and there are at least only 2 in India right now, and I really hope there are more of them.
There should be, otherwise they're going to make all the money. Everybody who's listening, if you want to be one, go learn, study.
Study intimacy right now with your partner.
But listen, the fact that, Ritasha Rathod, I've forgotten the first name of that Kapoor guy, Kashyap Kapoor, the guy who played Tripathi ji, all these people came in and out. I want to know about co-actors and other people who come in this one.
It's so sad that the 3 people you took the name of are not there in season.
Yeah, so there must be others.
There are others, and they are phenomenal in the show. There is an actor called Vidhatri, who's done a phenomenal job. There's an actor called Sayandeep, Sayandeep is the guy who played... who was in The Office. Of The Office. Then there is an actor called Noirika. Then there is Aisha's parents, my parents.
There's also Kusha Kapila in the show.
Oh, wow.
Surprise tha wo.
Nahi surprise. Also, what's really lovely about these characters is that you constantly think it's a show about Varun and Riya, but it's actually these characters who come in and shape their world. Because Riya and Varun, you can say they're part of the grey area of life, but they are actually the most flawed. And everybody who's coming in is actually shaping the world. Like Kusha's part is in my track of the story. And every time I've read that part, I've cried. When Kusha and I did those scenes. And they're not heavy scenes, they're very light scenes. But for the character of Riya, if Kusha's character did not come in, I don't think anything would have happened. Riya would just be another person who's struggling and confused. So these characters are so important for the story and for Riya and Varun.
And Riya and Varun are seeing other people in this. Varun is.
Yeah.
Don't know about Riya, but who's the actor who plays your
Vidhatri.
Okay.
And she's so good because there's always, you see there's a dichotomy or you feel there is, because he's always the show is in two timelines. It's timeline 1 and timeline 3. So in timeline 3, obviously I'm dating Anisha, but you always feel there must be something between Ria and Varun, because they're living in the same house and they share such a beautiful relationship. So with Anisha being there, you're just always feeling ye right hai ya ye wrong hai. So
But she's so right. you know,
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, this is perfect.
Perfect.
She's the perfect girl. But they are also
they're
good
perfect,
together.
yeah, so-
And Vedatri's played that so well. I think she came in with no judgment as an actor. And that helped her to be that character so well. I'm sure she'll be able to talk about it better, but she was beautiful.
She was very.
You know, I'm just, you, both of you, Aisha, Ayush, you have a massive fan following. You know, the nation is crushing you on you in a lot of ways. Do you still yearn for the theatricals? Because I'll tell you why. Your career is going wonderfully well. There's OTT, you know, your digital career, you're influencers, you know, people pay you big bucks to do reels and things like that. But is there still a craving for theatrical? I wouldn't have asked this question if Pathan hadn't become such a big hit. Because now it's proved that people are willing to go to the theaters.
Yes.
You know, it's not just the OTT. But do you hunger for that, or you think it's a over-romanticized concept of ek theatrical to hona chahiye?
You know, like sorry, I'll speak on my behalf. The dream was always that, and that's why we got into acting. It was always that ek din meri picture theater mein dikhegi. And then things changed. We were doing ads and we were doing plays. Then digital came in. We just happened to be there at that time. We didn't know कि YouTube पे video करने से Instagram platform पे followers बढ़ेंगे. We did not know that that's gonna get us money someday. That just happened, and we're very lucky because we did not have to. At least I find myself very lucky and very privileged because I never made content. You know, I just kept doing my acting bit, and this kept growing at the same time. But the first love, the only love, has always been that I want to be a part of films, and also with shows coming in now, I want to be part of big shows. I want to be part of dynamic shows. But sadly, you get put in a box, right? You're like, okay, no, this person does digital videos, so I don't think she can pull off a long format. But with -1, we were trusted. We had, so that's what happened, right? We did a show on YouTube that did really well. That got a platform like Lionsgate Play, and they gave us that opportunity to play a tough part. Maybe if our show didn't do well on YouTube because of the following that we have on Instagram, maybe we wouldn't have got this. So it's such a plus. And,
Everything is planned. Like Bobby Deol and Akshay Kumar says, everything is
Who
planned.
says? Like who says?
Bobby Deol and Akshay Kumar and Ajnabi.
Yeah, correct. I remember that.
Yeah, computer revolving. But theatrical has always been the dream, and it's always gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like we started off wanting to act in films only. Digital just happened by chance, and it blew. And we love it because whatever we are in our life is only because of that. And we owe everything to the digital space. But of course, when you see Pathan on a big screen, and when you're like, yaar, mereko bhi kabhi to chahiye aisa.
But the good news is that you're not going to have a fit or kill yourself or get depressed if you don't become the next on-screen sensation, because it's wonderful the love that you've got on OTT and digital.
See, the idea is to keep doing good work, and now good work is not only limited to the big theatrical space. There are stories which are being told on the OTTs which are phenomenal, and
but I still want to be on the big screen.
100%.
Like I don't think I want to rest before that dream comes true, you know.
But I think for me it's more important to keep doing great work. Be it anywhere now, it's an OTT film or a theatrical film or a show, but just keep doing good stuff. Like that is more important, because at the end of the day, it's merging so well that you will get an opportunity if people like you and you're good in a series. So,
of course.
So we're just waiting for -1 chapter 2 to come
change
out.
our lives.
So please, guys, watch it. And
Lionsgate Play. Once you get a subscription, it's on Prime Video. It's on Airtel. I don't know if there are other boxes
Jio
on Jio as well.
Yes, Jio as well.
So lots of places for you guys to catch it. Release date, shout
14th Feb. 14th Feb.
14th Feb. Lovely. Listen, Do you get to travel in this, what is it called? What chapter? New chapter.
New chapter, yes.
Because I understand the frugality of having one house as a set and one office as a thing. It's wonderful for a producer because all the action rotates around that. But now that the show is bigger, do you travel? Is there locations outdoor?
Yes, we went to Delhi and shot. We went to Old Delhi. We went to Chandni Chowk and
Very
shot.
nice.
And it was such an experience for both of us.
Do you go to that parathe wali gali?
Yes, we did. And my God, they had warned us and told us that tomorrow shoot is going to be chaotic. It's Chandni Chowk. So we were like, हाँ कितना ही होगा chaotic. Till we reached there and we realized कि hi Ram, like no one stops.
Yeah.
Like everyone just passing, and it was such an experience because
We got to meet such brilliant characters.
oh man, actual ones.
Actual people who are walking around and then they have their stories. They don't care if you're shooting or not. Their stories are important. There was one man who was told that, sir, आप please थोड़ा side में हटोगे, वो shoot करना है. He said, आपको पता है, मैं audience हूँ. मैं आपको पैसे देता हूँ, तब इसलिए आप लोग काम कर सकते हो. And I'm just standing there, I'm like, you're right. There was one old man, I think he must be in his 70s, he was dressed like Dev Anand, and he came and started talking to me. And now I'm looking at the ADs that, okay, whenever you all roll, till then I'm going to talk to him. And he said, पता है, मैं बहुत famous हूँ. मैं देवानंद से better हूँ. And he was dressed like Devanand, and he said, वो बॉम्बे चला गया ना, इसलिए उसका career चल गया. And this old man doing that, it was a beautiful experience.
As you can make out from my considerable size, I'm a huge foodie. So when I went there, I remember going to one place and eating these parathas where they had Ranbir Kapoor and Imtiaz's photo.
Oh wow!
Because they had come there during Rockstar. And they said, these guys ate there. So I said, listen, I'm here for the food. But nice to know they were sitting here. But yeah, it's got so much character. My God, she's right. Aisha is right. This is wonderful. Just being there,
We
doing
shot
whatever.
in the old fort as well. So
Oh.
the director wouldn't let me usually see the monitor. But the day we were shooting in Old Fort, he just kept dragging me to the monitor saying, "ये देख क्या सुंदर लग रहा है." And because he's from Delhi, he's like,
I figured, yeah. Because the show is pretty much set in Delhi. I mean, even one was set in Delhi.
It is.
Yeah. Guys, any travel destination that you've been to that you went to and said, wow, this is just so good in your life? I don't mean this show. Recently.
I recently did a trip with my friends and we were in Europe. And I've been to Europe earlier. I've seen Italy and I've seen Spain, but I saw Paris and I fell in love.
Did you take that Seine River cruise?
I couldn't because I was there for a
it's
very
so
short
beautiful.
period, but we went to the Eiffel Tower and we knew that we'll not be that excited about it, but we went there, took pictures, but I met Natalie Portman.
What are you saying?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Just hanging around in Champs-Elysees?
She was with her dog and her daughter roaming around. Nobody recognized her. A friend of mine comes to me and tells me, Dik, Natalie Portman. And I thought he's just fucking around. I said, chal na, let me take pictures or whatever. He's like, no, that is Natalie Portman. And we were waiting for her turnaround while I'm judging her from behind. कुत्ता लेके घूम रही है, जूते भी गंदे हैं, कैसे कपड़े पहनी है, that's not her. She turns around and we all froze. And we were 6 of us. We just started walking towards her. We didn't know why we were doing that. It happened. And we were, पूछेगा photo ले, नहीं, let's not disturb her. No, photo ले लेते हैं, this, that. And I was like, what's the worst that can happen? She'll reject me.
Reject you.
She will still have spoken to me. And I said, can we get a picture, please? And she was getting dragged with her dog and she's trying to hold on to the leash. And she says, I'm really sorry, not right now, but you all have a good day. And I was like, I got rejected by Natalie Portman.
That's polite. That's polite.
That's very polite. And we understand, how it gets. And I'm sure,
of course.
in the West,
you guys face it all the time. In fact, I was at Lollapalooza with with Aditya Roy Kapoor. And we were really enjoying this band called The Strokes. And
Correct.
2-3 people came up and said, photo. He said, not now, yaar. And later, after the show, he posed for all the photographs. But there are some moments which are just yours, you just, and you don't want to be caught up in that. So, oh wow, that's a moment.
It is. So that's why Paris has become so special.
Correct. Correct.
Also, the city is beautiful.
Yeah,
And
it is.
It's
It is the romance capital of the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, time to go back and do the Louvre and do that Seine River cruise and all the
I did
things
the
that you're
Louvre
supposed to.
though.
You did.
I did.
It takes a week to do it, but you whatever you could.
The
Yeah.
quick one, yeah.
15 minute वाला.
Yeah.
15 minute वाला Mona Lisa देख लिया ना बस. They always say you say Mona Lisa is okay.
Mona Lisa is famous, dude. There was actually a long queue to get to her.
Of course. Yeah.
Lovely. Ayush, any travel destination?
I recently went to Maldives, and it was really beautiful. Yeah, I genuinely do not like beaches, and
Because he thinks the shark is gonna come for him and eat him away. And
like
it's a
Jaws,
genuine
like
fear.
Jaws.
Like genuinely, I've seen so much of Jaws that I think Steven Spielberg is the reason why I hate the water. But I fell in love with the ocean because I never thought that it was so beautiful. I'm so sorry, but I've always been a mountain person, and I went to Kashmir. I've done all those things. I've gone to Tawang with Aisha only. We've done all these places, but I've never seen such beauty in the ocean.
So you went diving.
I went
Lovely,
diving as
lovely.
well, and I did not want
Did they
to
give
go
you that
diving.
certificate? Ayush
It
Mehra.
was a beginner's certificate. I only went down till 10 meters. But my girlfriend Ashna insisted that I have to do it, otherwise she'll leave me. That was the dhamki. So now to save my relationship, only I had to do both.
I couldn't believe it. I actually messaged Ashna.
What a brave man.
Yeah,
प्यार के लिए.
I messaged Ashna. I said, "How did you manage to get him in the water? Did sharks not eat him up?" She's like, "Dude, you have no idea."
I did see sharks though. I saw 2 sharks, and Ashna panicked because she was like, "Oh my god, this guy's going to die right now by looking at them only." But
Death by shark.
I was just looking at them, and I was just look. They were in their house, like there was a small coral where they were inside.
You were
and
mentally talking to them, no?
I was just like, कर क्या रहे अंदर? करते क्या ये लोग ऐसे?
No, but they say if you're shit scared and you're underwater, you should concentrate on your breath.
Yeah,
So they become meditative.
It was, and you know, it's so beautiful, it's so silent. And a week before that, I had seen Avatar, and I was like, "Hey, यार ऐसा कुछ देखने मिलेगा क्या अंदर?" And I went in, and the fish were so many of them looked like that, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, ये तो गलत हो रहा है." I thought it was only over there. So it was a very surreal experience, and I did not think that Maldives is going to be that great. So I am now open to the fact of going to beach places now.
Lovely. Okay, I mean, I just had such a wonderful time with you guys, man. It was just like you were sitting at an Irani cafe and having chai or coffee and just chatting with each other. So when is your next release? When are you guys coming in again? When is yours?
We are coming in on the 14th first, and I just hope that people watch Lionsgate.
Of course, yeah.
And after that is obviously a film of mine which I've done.
Nice.
Which is called Kacche Limbu, which is also directed by the same director, Shubham Yogi. So with this film, we went to TIFF, and it's going to release soon. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I think it's an OTT film. So it's with Radhika Madan, and I'm very excited for it.
Nice.
So, but पहले सारी energy इधर focus करते हैं. Lionsgate play 14th Feb, guys.
Aisha, what's the next one?
I honestly, I still haven't been able to get my next project. So once that happens, hopefully, I will see you very soon.
Lovely. -1, new chapter, guys. Give it a lot of love. Thank you, Ayush.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Aisha. Cheers.